So, what if I told you that one of the most important saints in a 20th century religion was actually a failed businessman from 19th century San Francisco? It sounds completely nuts, right? But it's a true story that connects the worship of chaos itself with the incredible tale of America's one and only emperor.
Okay, so to get our heads around this emperor, first we got to understand his followers. This is Discordianism. It popped up in the 1960s, and it's a belief system that doesn't just tolerate chaos, it throws a party for it. It's all built around Eris, the Greek goddess of discord, and the whole point is to question the reality that everyone else just accepts.
Now, in Discordianism, their whole take on sainthood is, well, it's pretty out there. See, they believe everyone is a pope, but actual sainthood is broken down into classes. And get this, the highest honors go to fictional characters, because they can be perfect in ways real people just can't. But there's this very special category, the second class, that's reserved for real-life humans who lived a life of truly glorious chaos. And that, right there, is the big question. Out of all the people in history who broke the rules and marched to the beat of their own drum, who did the Discordians pick as their #1 real-world saint? It wasn't some famous philosopher or a revolutionary general. No, it was this guy, Norton I, Emperor of the United States. He was this beloved and very eccentric figure who ruled over San Francisco in the 1800s, or at least he did in his own mind. So on September 17, 1859, a man named Joshua Norton strolls into the office of a San Francisco newspaper and just hands them this proclamation. Now, the newspaper, they printed it, probably as a huge joke, but for Joshua Norton, this was dead serious. This was day one of his 20-year reign. But Norton didn't just, pop out of nowhere. His backstory is this wild tale of going from riches to, well, a very different kind of reign. He was once a super wealthy, totally respected businessman in a city. So how in the world does a guy like that end up declaring himself an absolute monarch? His road to the throne was, well, it was paved with failure. He showed up during the gold rush, made a fortune, and was living the high life. But then, in 1852, he tried to corner the entire rice market. It was this huge, insane gamble that completely blew up in his face and wiped him out. After years of fighting in court and just disappearing, he was a broken man. So what did he do? He just created a new reality, one where he wasn't a failure, he was the Emperor of the United States. And he wasn't just playing dress-up, okay? He started issuing official decrees, and the local papers actually printed them. He decided to start at the very top. Just 1 month into his reign, bam, he abolished the United States Congress. Just like that. Of course, Congress didn't exactly pack up and leave, so a few months later, did Norton back down? No way. He doubled down. He ordered the head of the entire U.S. Army to march into Washington and physically kick Congress out. The sheer nerve is just magnificent. Naturally, the Army ignored him too, but the people of San Francisco, they absolutely loved it. But this is where the story gets truly incredible. Because beyond all the wacky decrees, this man had a vision for his city that was shockingly clear and way ahead of its time. A vision that would literally change the shape of the Bay Area forever. See, back then, the big, powerful railroad was pushing for a bridge across the bay, but way, way south, like 30 miles from downtown. It was a terrible idea for the city. But Emperor Norton, he had a much, much better plan. A direct suspension bridge connecting Oakland right to San Francisco, cutting straight through Goat Island. And he was so specific about it. In 1872, he issued a proclamation that laid out the exact route. Does that path sound familiar to you? Yeah, it should. It is the precise route that the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge would eventually take. He even called for an underwater tunnel for trains. And when the city's actual leaders ignored his brilliant plan, he didn't just get frustrated. He ordered their arrest. He wasn't suggesting things. He was commanding them. It just shows you how completely, 100%, he believed in his own authority and his vision. Now, the people of San Francisco, they really did love this guy. Seriously, restaurants would accept money he printed himself. Theaters saved him a seat for every opening night. They treated him like real royalty. But turning his biggest ideas into actual steel and concrete, well, that was going to take a little bit longer. Just look at this. It's staggering. 64 years after Norton demanded it, the Bay Bridge opened, following the exact path he laid out. And 102 years after his proclamation, the BART Transbay Tube, the underwater rail tunnel, opened for service. The mad emperor's delusion became the city's defining reality.
Which brings us right back to the beginning. Why would a 1960s religion all about chaos look back and pick this 19th century guy as their shiro? The answer really gets to the heart of what Discordianism is all about and what it means to choose your own truth when the world's truth lets you down. And here it is, the whole reason right here. For the Discordians, his sainthood has nothing to do with the bridge or the decrees. It's about his absolute conviction. When his reality fell apart, he didn't give up. He just built a new one from scratch. And he lived in it so completely, so powerfully, that an entire city decided, you know what? We'll live in it with you. For them, there is no higher path.
In the end, Emperor Norton's greatest creation wasn't the bridge he foresaw in the distance. It was the one he built inside his own mind, and then inside the minds of thousands of other people. It kind of makes you wonder, right? How much of our own reality is just a story we've all agreed is true? And what could happen if somebody just decides to write a different one?